What up, Buzz? You tapped in? Okay, Goose, you tapped in too? All right, Chicago, y'all tapped in? All right, boys, let's crack them. Feel like Mike in the fourth with the ball in my hands and I'm taking a shot. I'm the king in the madhouse on Madison, whether I make it or not. Now the crowd going crazy, they watching the play and I'm watching the clock. Got my shot in the air and the buzzer go off and I'm watching it drop. This team did things, MJ shot City 6 rings. D-Rose too big, too fast, too strong, history. And we good on that, put Jilla on the track and we good on whack. 3, 2, 1, everybody say Bulls on tap, Bulls on tap. Our city pretty and gritty, Benny the bull in the crowd getting hyper and litty. Me, I'm so drippy, it's slippery, nothing offends me. Banners on banners, we winners. We got the stats in the news, go and subscribe. Hang out with Buzzy and Goose, tapping with us, we the truth. Jilla just murdered the booth.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bulls on Tap. I'm your boy Buzz. I'm joined by my dude Goose, aka Bulls Scripted. We're here to recap a loss. The Chicago Bulls lost to the Boston Celtics in Boston, 123-119. But before we do that, be sure to go to ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Following us on Twitter at Bulls on Tap, at ontapsportsnet. Following Goose at Bulls Scripted, me at Buzz on Tap. Anywhere you can listen to podcasts, you can listen to us, 5-star rating and review, because that's cool and tough. Also, if you're on Twitter or Facebook, fuck that. Go over to the YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. Join Alex Rude, Senor, and Chai Sports Fan in the chat here, and probably some other friends will show up eventually. Goose, we lost. It's Friday, and we lost.
It's Friday. We were on national television, and we lost. And DeMar had 44 points.
46.
46. Okay. That's not a game you want to waste, especially with Vooch shooting, what was it, 4 for 5 from 3 to finish the game?
Vooch 24 and 12 tonight. I saw a lot of Vooch hate on Twitter tonight too, bro.
At a certain point, fans are just going to have to accept that Vooch isn't going to go 4 for 5 every night, but the fact that he's capable of doing it any given night, and he's going to give you double-digit boards, is all you can ask for from a guy that's playing third fiddle on this team. I don't know what the expectations for that man are. I think whatever they are is clearly unrealistic, though, because most nights when we talk Vooch, we're happy with the performance that we got.
Yeah.
It's really hard to criticize him too much. Bulls obviously without Drummond still, so the rebound discrepancy is probably pretty evident. But that's not Vooch's fault. He can only play so many damn minutes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, us being down, I'm not going to say Kobe White, but I'll say Andre Drummond. The minutes that Vooch put in at 35 tonight. Vooch. I got so many fucking weird things going on in my brain right now. But the minutes that Vooch put in tonight, I thought he was fucking fantastic when he was out on the floor. He he got dunked on like a mug. I mean, that was pretty brutal, but I thought he played a great game. Zach, he didn't play a bad game. He didn't play a great game. That second game in a row, he didn't look great.
No, I think Doris Burke kept pointing it out pretty well during the broadcast that at this point of Zach's return, he is relying on that jump shot a lot. And the nights where he's hitting all of his threes, it's easy to escape criticism for not being a little bit more aggressive. We did see Zach in the fourth get more aggressive and get to the free throw line. But no, Zach did not seem himself tonight in a matchup where you kind of needed him to be that dude and make Jalen work a little bit harder on the other end. But he was kind of just more of a spacer and an off-ball threat until the fourth quarter where he did get a couple aggressive drives in. But I think tonight the biggest issue was our boy Pat. Had a whole bunch of horrible turnovers.
Yeah, he had
travels.
4 turnovers tonight, and he fouled out. So he had a rough game. But I wanted to touch on your point about Zach. On Jaylen Brown, and then sometimes he'd be on Marcus Smart. I know that DeMar would kind of go over there, but if you're not going to give and again, I'm not fucking picking on him. I'm just saying, if you have DeMar coming out into the point that you made in the beginning of the show, 46 points. That's a lot. If DeMar is carrying the scoring load for you and it's not there for you, or you don't feel like you have the looks to take more than the 13 shots than you took, then you need to give it on the defensive end completely. Like you have to figure it out how to impact the game some way if it's not just scoring.
Yeah,
and that's been
Mara
something.
Butcher carrying the team. You got to unlock Team USA mode and be that supporting role and do what you can to impact the game without having to score.
I mean, they scored 70 points between the two of them, Vooch and DeMar. So, like, if you're not impacting the game where you need to be impacting it on the offensive end, and which is your bread and butter usually, you need to do it on the defensive end. You need to find a way to get after loose balls, jump in the passing lane. I mean, play hard man-to-man defense when the time calls for it. And, I'm not going to sit here and say Jaylen Brown did any fucking better than Zach did, because he didn't really. Arguably was worse than Zach was if you look at the plus-minus thing, and I only use that to my advantage, as I tell everybody all the time, and Zach had a better plus-minus than he did. It's just I agree with actually Chai Sports fan here and Senor. He was like, Senor says he wasn't max deal Zach tonight, and then you have Chai Sports fan. He looks flat, and he's right. The last two games, Zach has looked flat on offense.
And after a back-to-back that we didn't expect him to play in, that was fine. Like, it was really hard to criticize that when the expectation was that he wasn't even going to play in that game. So just to see him out on the floor for that, whether it was decoy or whatever, that was different than tonight. Obviously, still third game in 4 nights, still definitely a fatigue factor present, but you did have the night off yesterday to, gather yourself and prepare. So Zach's performance tonight was definitely disappointing, but I do think Patrick Williams is where we were let down the most.
And I'm with you there. Our bench didn't give up. Like we talked that shit up a lot in the last episode. Like, why does this always fucking happen? Wait, Alex sent me a meme. Did you text it to me? He texted it to me. Oh, this fucking guy. I love Alex Rude so much. Can you see that, Goose? What? Patrick Williams, what does he even do? That's brutal. But I felt like we were praising Pat and the bench in our last episode pretty heavily. And 15 points from the bench tonight. That's it. And 7 points from Pat. Like you pointed out, the 4 turnovers didn't really help. Again, looked aggressive at some certain points, but when I guess I hate sounding like a broken record when it comes to it, because I'm kind of sick and tired of saying it. Like, when do I get to say, like, oh, yeah, it was great that he was aggressive? Like, when is that going to turn into consistency?
Yeah, no. I mean, year 3, aggressiveness doesn't count unless it's effective. Tonight, Pat's aggressiveness was ultimately his downfall. Those 2 travel calls were him being sped up, being too quick, acting before thinking at all. I mean, and that's supposed to be reactionary, but he got himself in trouble. And the last 3 plays are not going to be fun to remember, especially because he missed that 3 that could have tied the game. Zach passed out, trusted him, open look, and we got nothing but back iron, and then he fouled out. So it was just the whole game. Pat tried to do the right things and continually failed, and it just didn't look good.
I thought he was going to have a big game after that first quarter jump shot. Like that's the thing with Pat's jump shot off the dribble. Like, he just hangs in the air. And I never know when the ball, like, he's going to release the ball on his J, and it fucking swished. Nothing but net. His first shot of the game. And I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, it's going to be big. I'm like, all right, I feel good about this. This is going to be great. And then it just kind of went downhill from there. I'm not going to blame the whole loss on him. Of course, I know you're not doing that either. I know you're not doing that either.
That's not fair. But if one player's poor performance stood out more than anybody else's, it was Pat's tonight, because he had those turnovers in key moments and momentum swings of the game, and really kind of just fell on his face when you needed him not to. He just done it up, but figuratively, not literally.
It was funny. I think with 2 minutes left in the first quarter, the Bulls only had 1 turnover. They ended up finishing the game with 17 tonight.
They had 7 in the third quarter.
They got so sloppy with the ball, and they were just playing so fast. And, I was wondering where one of those Billy Donovan fucking timeouts were to slow them down and be like, yo, it's the third quarter. Pull the brakes. Walk the ball up the fucking court. There's no reason that we need to be, running into the fire and then turning the ball over. I was surprised that he didn't do that. That third quarter was just kind of funky to watch in general. The lineup that we have seen do well I guess minus Pat, because I don't think Pat played with him tonight. But it was DJJ, Javante, Zach, Dragic, and who am I missing?
Pat was out there.
Caruso.
I think Pat was out there a little bit. I know
Was he?
Pat was out there with DJJ for a little bit, playing the 5.
I was
Because
in charge of the kids tonight, so I missed a little bit of it. Not a lot.
No, because I specifically remember Doris Burke and them pointing it out that we were playing rather small, and Pat was kind of playing the 5.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I felt like
we see it more as DJJ playing the 5 just because his verticality kind of makes him more of a rim protector.
Is that a word?
Verticality, yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, well,
I believe so. I believe so. If not, it should fucking be.
It should be. That bitch better be in Webster, But like, I'm just verticality. I like the way I'm gonna get that tattooed on me. I think that's a cool word. That is a cool word, man. I've had a few beers, obviously. Anyway, so Alex Caruso tonight too. I thought that he played like shit. What do you think?
I mean.
I'm serious. Like we're sitting here, we're on Pat, we're on the bench. I'm just curious because I don't really get. Billy says he wants to limit Caruso's minutes, right? Because he wants to keep him fresh with his style of play.
I think he just wants to keep him available. He knows that every minute this guy plays is an opportunity for him to be injured because of the way that he does play. So that 24 to 28 minutes that I keep hearing about is the sweet spot for him. Which cool on a night like tonight. I don't know. Caruso wasn't as effective as I would have liked to see, and I don't know if that's just.
Got me, man.
I don't know if it was just defensively. You had hard-nosed guys like Smart on the opposing team, Brogdon and White, that you just are hard to get turnovers out of, and he didn't turn them over. So his offensive miscues stood out more tonight than they usually do because the dog stands on the defensive end, leading 2 easy points. And then you forget about kind of his half-court play at times.
He needs to recognize when he's in certain lineups what he needs to be and what at least he needs to do. Like, obviously, neither you or I, for the coach of the team, are going to ask Alex Caruso to be some sort of scorer. That's not what we're going to do. But when he's in the game and Zach is the only other real legitimate scorer on the floor, Caruso can't do what he did in the second quarter. Or was it third quarter? It was the third quarter. Where you had penetration to the rim, the ball gets kicked out to. There's no one fucking near him. No one. He pump fakes, and I believe, who was it that jumped? It was Derek White. White jumped, and he was in the fucking paint, jumped, and then Caruso drove right into him and then turned the ball over after he tried kicking the ball out. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, damn. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what? Why don't you pull the trigger? It's like I'm not mad at the team in general. It's just things that I see that they do some nights and then they don't do other nights. And I'm just confused on it. Like, why was the hesitation? Even from Io tonight, had a couple open looks from 3 that he didn't take advantage of and passed out of it. And I'm just, why do they do that on some nights and why do they not do that on others?
I don't know. Do you think coming off the back-to-back where the bench solely took the lead that they felt like, all right, well, now we know that it's our turn's over? Like they felt like they had to be more passive, that tonight wasn't their night, and maybe that was the message going in? I mean, not that you should ever have that. You're a professional athlete. Like your mentality should be on go and be confident and ready at all times. But do you think that's a possibility that after the performance of DeMar and Zach, that it was kind of like, oh, well, we know these guys are going to go after it tonight. I should pay more.
Well, like you're saying, defer. Like, yeah. I mean, if that's the case, that's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if that were to be the case, I'd be pretty irritated as a fan about that. I really hope it's not. But, I mean, goddamn, it's just such a shell shock. Like, I know we're not going to be perfect every night, but holy fuck, you go from what the bench has kind of been doing to that performance. Like, I think that, well, no, because Javante was +4. I was going to say, besides the Cleveland game, I can't think of everybody, and we've done pretty much every game in a postgame. I can't think of everybody being on the bench a minus. But that was everybody tonight outside of Javante.
Our bench has been our strong suit almost all year.
Right. It's just
and I am skunks. I'm not, I know Pat had 2 travels in the offensive foul, 3 out of his 4 turnovers. I do not recall what the 4th one was, if that was also a travel or not.
I can't. I think that wasn't the fourth one an offensive foul.
I know, like I said, I know 2 travels, 1 offensive foul. I'm not sure if the other one was on a pass or also
right. I mean, I don't know. This is like the first outside of Cleveland. I mean, and Cleveland's been fucking on fire to start the year. Absolutely unbelievable, which I can't believe I'm saying. I mean, the city still sucks, but hey. But I mean,
I was unfortunately watching Garland highlights before getting on the show, and it was kind of just like, oh God, I remember wanting him so bad in the draft too. Like, you got Kobe White, but there's just so many guys that you have to watch in the league that we were tanking for that are now like bona fide stars and only getting better because they are like right in that prime age where they're entering their prime, and it's just constant daggers because our window's just like closing. Like you see DeMar on a back-to-back and you're like, oh, he is human. Obviously didn't look human tonight. He looked like basketball god again. But like, you see this young talent, especially when you have to watch it in the East.
In the division. In your division too.
Oh yeah, even more secluded there. In your division, it's not fun. Because
it's not. It definitely sucks, and I really hope because like Chai Sports fan just pointed out, you have Milwaukee who's fucking 7-0, you have Cleveland who's looking really good. But I will say one thing about this game: we've been kind of fucking gloomy throughout the episode, but Boston does not scare me right now at all. I know they don't have Williams, I know he's not there, but they don't really terrify me too much.
That would be the positive takeaway is that we are 1-1 against Boston. We won at home, we lost on the road, and we didn't look bad on the road. We had up to an 8-point lead. We were in the game to the very end without a few minor miscues, or I guess major miscues, that somewhat cost us the game down the stretch. By all means, this was still a competitive, good game with a team that was just in a championship series. Right. So if there's anything to hang your hat on, we can fight with these teams. It's just a matter of if we'll be able to come out ahead enough times.
Right. And a big thing to remember, too, when it comes to these series, we are missing a couple rotational guys. And I know that just seems to be something that we constantly talk about as Bulls fans, but it's the truth. We were missing some good rebounding tonight off of our bench. Our bench combined 7 rebounds tonight off our bench. 7 rebounds.
Doubles that on his own.
Right. So, I mean, that's something to keep in mind, So we'll see what happens, but there is good news. There is good news, and you had quote tweeted the good news earlier about Lonzo Ball.
He's working out in a pool.
Well, yeah, he's going to start running. He's going to start doing. I mean, there's still no timetable for the return, but didn't that report that you shared say that Billy was very optimistic about how Alonzo looks right now?
It did say that, Billy. I think there was maybe even more than one very in there.
Okay.
But that also kind of scares me when people start getting a little hyperbolic, kind of over exaggerating. Like, yeah, it's very, very, very positive. Still no timetable.
We still don't know when the fuck he'll be back, but he looks great. Yeah, no, yeah.
It's seeming like we're gonna get him back this year. Still no timetable, but very, very positive.
Yeah, I'm still keeping my thing in 2023. I'm still saying probably right near the All-Star break or right after it is probably when he comes back.
I think it is just Billy speaking in code, trying to protect the sanctity of the recovery process here for Zoe, because they know fans want a date, when to expect it. We thought we were getting it by now at this point of the season, and instead we got another surgery. Right. So it is positive to hear that Zoe is more comfortable, but we also didn't hear until like the beginning of preseason that he was getting another surgery. We just assumed that everything was hunky-dory in the offseason. His dad told us everything was hunky-dory.
He said Lonzo will be ready by training camp. He fucking lied to me.
Yeah, so I'm not going to listen to anything when it comes to Lonzo until he's practicing and doing on-court stuff, because he could sneeze at this point and it's going to be back to I can't run or jump, and I can't toy with myself like that.
You can't handle it right now?
I can't handle it right now.
We got to move on from that
This team is just so fringe everything that I can't hold on to Lonzo's return because that is just too much false hope.
Alex, read the comments.
I Yeah, I mean, no, I don't
Tank
think
for Victor.
They're not. They're not having a fire sale.
Dude, did you see that Lakers guy talk about how the Lakers should try to trade for DeRozan? Goddamn, I wish I had some more context behind. I watched a little video of there's some guy who's in media in Los Angeles talking about how the Lakers could look towards DeMar DeRozan. He can go where he really wants to go.
After the Cavs game, I'm pretty sure we went to that dark path of talking about just trading people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we do. We
DeMar,
overreact here.
I do think DeMar has the value. I do think that if you're the Bulls front office, you've got to debate that. Do I think the Lakers would be extremely stupid to trade assets down the road when you know you're going to suck because you paid LeBron another $40 million for like an extra 3 years? Like, I want the first round draft pick of the year that LeBron's in the last year or two of his career. I want that shit.
I want it.
Because you're either trading him somewhere for, just another media exploit, like, oh, LeBron's switching teams again. Let's see what he's going to do in Orlando with Paolo and Wendell Carter and Franz Wagner. What can he do now? There's going to be another big deal for LeBron at some point. And I want the Lakers pick. So, yeah.
Listen,
do I want it? Do I want to go back to watching shit basketball?
I'm not into it.
Spending half my night on Tankathon on a simulator, wondering if I'm going to get Victor just to get bent over on draft night at a bar with you, trying to celebrate something good and leaving crying because we drafted Wendell Carter Jr. It's no. We're not going there. We're 500. Fuck it. Why are we even talking about this?
No, we're not. It was just fucking funny because Alex had to stir the pot with his sarcasm with the Vic thing. No, I don't want to move on from anybody. I'm just, like I said, I want to see the team fully healthy, and I really hope we get that at some point this year. It was a good game tonight, regardless. It was a fun one to watch. A game up your alley. The close ones. I like the blowouts when the Bulls win because I just want to talk DEFCON 5 shit the whole fucking time, but it didn't turn out my way. But it was a fun game, and I do feel the Bulls, even sitting at their 5-5 record, are better than that record, and they're competitive this year, and they've been fun. I mean, they really have not been fucking blown out at all this year, besides by Cleveland. So I feel like they've been in pretty much every game that they have played, and I'm just going up and down the scores here. Like we win the first game against Miami, right? And then we lose by a basket to the Wizards. We get killed by Cleveland. We beat the Celtics. We beat the Pacers. We lose a heartbreaker to the Spurs. We lose a close one to the Sixers. Then we won 2 in a row. And then we lost another heartbreaker tonight. This team is pretty fucking competitive. And I think that we have a chance to have some fun with it, especially once they get healthy.
We're going to be competitive throughout the season, and if whole, when the playoffs come, which is obviously your goal every year, is to be the healthiest and strongest and on your best stretch of basketball, like the Celtics were last year to close their season.
Right.
At the end. And we've said it in the offseason, we've said it throughout the year. Would rather have Zoe to finish the year than to start the year. And that's the timetable we're on. And
right.
All means we're going to be competitive without him, which isn't a feeling that we had last year. So that's an improvement in itself. We definitely need to get Drummond back because that was pretty evident tonight. I feel the first time that we played Boston, it was kind of our size advantage against them without Robert Williams that made it, gave the Bulls an advantage in that game. And without Drummond, we just didn't really have that tonight. But I feel like once he comes back, that we are going to be close to winning or winning the majority of the games against teams as good or better than us. And it's nice to have enjoyable games to watch, even if you'd rather be able to just, go to sleep because it's in the bag.
I like falling asleep easy. So that's my goal every night. Good news on Andre Drummond. Wrote an article over at ontapsportsnet.com. Plug. He underwent an MRI. Came back clean.
Okay.
But he does have a sprain in that right shoulder that he fell on in the Spurs game. So there is no timetable for his return right now. There you go. That's what, according to Billy. He did not travel with the team for this game. So hopefully He'll be back soon.
I'm just imagining this press conference. Like, yeah, things are going great with So. Things are fantastic. It's the most positive it's been since the injury. Still no timetable. Drummond, also fantastic. Had an MRI. Why did he have an MRI? Well, because it's serious, but cleanest MRI we've ever seen. Just a standard sprain. Also, no timetable.
God damn, that's fucking brutal. Why don't they play Tony Bradley? I mean, seriously, he's at least fucking big. Have you ever seen him move? He runs like an injured deer.
But he won a 3-point contest in practice, Buzz.
I don't give a shit. Have you ever seen the way he runs?
I don't care how he runs. I've got a pretty.
Goose, he can't get down the floor.
I think that's more of his care factor. I don't think.
That makes me feel a lot better. He just doesn't give a fuck.
No, he just doesn't care.
It's not because of a lack of talent. It's because I know as soon as Drummond comes back with the no timetable, I'm not gonna fucking have any minutes. So fuck you, you know.
Exactly. Yes.
It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous. No, I'm good on the Tony Bradley thing. I'd rather call up Felicio.
You'd rather get Felicio over from Europe. Wasn't he playing in Germany
Brazil,
last year?
I think.
It was Brazil?
Brazil's not in Europe.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so, man. I need to around here, bro. I need some. Does anybody have a fucking map?
I thought he was in Germany.
Oh, is he in Germany?
I thought that's where he's playing. I know he's from Brazil.
Oh, hang on, man. God damn it.
Where is Cristiano Felicio?
Where's Felicio at? He's currently. I can't fucking pronounce this.
Well, I'll try.
Is a Brazilian professional basketball player for.
Okay, that's it.
Well, hang on. Radio from Ulm of the basketball Bundesliga.
That was so worth it.
I feel terrible, dude. I'm not trying to butcher shit. Like, I can't say this. Like, I'm done. I don't know what the fuck that. Look, I'm turning my camera around to my second screen here. Like, there's foosball table. Can you see that shit? Can you see it?
No.
You can't. The break. No, it's fucking.
There's words, but you can't read that shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. Like, that's just. I don't know what the fuck that says. I can't do it. I need Siri.
Felicio's unavailable.
He's unavailable. He signed.
He's got a contract.
Yeah, well, I'm done butchering shit now. So we'll move on to the next game unless you have anything left from the Celtics game that we touched on. And then
there's really not much left to talk about in the Celtics game. Jason Tatum, DeMar apparently didn't DeMar enough with 46 points, and Pat pooped to bed.
He sure did.
We've got the back-to-back with Toronto, one in Canada and one in Chicago. Who made our schedule? Who hates us? Like, what is that?
The basketball gods do. I truly believe that, man. I believe there's a higher power that take over the NBA schedule makers, and they fucking, this higher power messes with their brains when they get to the Bulls, and they're just like, this is what they think. They look at the Bulls logo and they say, fuck them. That's what they say.
Do we need Phil Jackson to come like smudge the United Center or something like this? He just gotta cleanse that shit.
Yeah, I go in there all the time. And when I go in there, I just do the washy thing, that my aunt used to do to me to cleanse my soul, my aura. I try to do that when I go in there, but it don't fucking work.
All right.
So, but yeah, going to Toronto, which isn't too far from Boston. So that's good, right? So they'll go to not a big travel day. They'll go hang out tomorrow, show the guys, a great time in Toronto. Yeah. And then, then they'll come back to the United Center and a fucking back-to-back and do it again. Because
so does Zach play in the first game or does he play at home?
I would be.
I mean, that's tough because you're playing the same team. Do you want fresh legs with Zach at home, or do you want to try to use home court advantage and try to steal the game on the road with Zach actually playing, or does Zach just play both games and solve our problem for us?
I doubt it. I bet Zach sits out Sunday because they're in Toronto, so it's going to be DeMar's time to shine. He's going to go over there and he's going to show them all that he's still balling, shot calling, and then Monday Zach will play at the United Center. That's my prediction. That's Buzzadamus for you right there.
Buzzadamus. I hope Zach makes us look stupid and just plays in both games.
That'd be great. But I was predicting things. That's what I was doing.
Well, I agree with your prediction.
All right. Well, that's fucking good then. So hopefully we win one of two. Like I hopefully win both. But I mean, the Raptors are not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. They're 5-3 right now. Siakam is fucking balling. I
was going to say he's in the MVP conversation right
points, rebounds, and assists. He's leading the fucking team in all three of them. 25.6 points per game on 47% shooting from the field. Well, 47.7%. 9.6 boards a game and 8 assists a game. So Siakam's fucking balling right now.
Yeah, no,
absolutely balling.
It appears he really worked on his spin move.
Yes, he did. He sure did. Look at you. You're the jokes. You got anything else before we get the fuck out of here?
No, let's take care of business in Toronto and Chicago. I don't like feeling like a 500 team. I gotta feel a little bit better than that. So let's go streaking again in back-to-back games. Let's remind Toronto why they got rid of DeMar. Yep. I mean, that's not a good thing. You shouldn't have done that. I don't care if you won a championship. Look at this guy. Even
their championship doesn't count.
No, I don't think it counts either.
I don't count it. You know why? Because no one gives a fuck about Toronto. That's why I don't count it.
I just don't think that Kawhi shot against Philly was ever real. That's why I don't think it counts.
I still think I live in the Matrix. I'm not sure. I don't think that happened either. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Toronto gets a championship before the Bulls or the Bears and shit. Are you fucking? I can't. I'm gonna go on my Chicago sports rant right now. I'm gonna start losing my shit here, and I just don't want to wake the kids up. I worked very hard to get them.
Hockey. How did we let that happen?
I have no fucking clue. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know how this happened to us. But yes, everybody be sure you're going on tapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. I will give everybody a heads up. I don't know if we will be on Sunday's show because Sundays is when I cook and I drink a lot of beer. So if we end up on the show, we end up on the show. I don't know what condition I will be in, but I will do my best to show up. Definitely, I will be here on Monday. No doubt about it. Just, go to ontapsportsnet.com, subscribe to our podcast, subscribe to the YouTube as well, and we'll be back Sunday or Monday. Let's go Bulls.